a lot of things that we just had to learn to do a little differently. She was not going to sit up. The balance factor and learning that there was floor on each side of her. By 6 months, we were doing physical therapy, occupational therapy, orientation and mobility therapy, and we didn't start the use of her cane until she was about 3, I think is when we introduced it. She uses it pretty well now, and she's able to take steps and do things like that. And her Braille reading, she is reading on a 1st or 2nd grade level, and she's in kindergarten with her Braille. So the earlier the intervention, the more ahead she's going to be.
Right.
In the U.S., there's actually no real research being done to even find a cure because it's nerves, and it's just kind of a thing that when you get your diagnosis, there's no cure for it. And sorry, your child's blind, and there's nothing we can do to change that. It's basically the diagnosis we got.
So what do you do but keep looking?
I had contacted several doctors or stem cell research facilities around the world. I knew that our only answer would ever be stem cells or something closely related. I came across the website. I read, several of the stories, spent nights up till 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, looking into it and seeing how they would relate to Rylea. July 4th was her first stem cell injection. They did it through an IV. And 1 week later is when she started reacting to the pen light, and they had checked her every day since the day we arrived the exact same way, and she had never had any response. And on that day, when they shined the light in her eyes, she closed her eyes and turned away, and so they did it on the other side, and she had the same reaction in opposite directions. So we knew, and they did it a couple of times, and the doctors and I just kind of looked at each other and looked at her and looked back at each other, and it was just amazing. We were all kind of in shock to see some changes like that. I said, I'm going to show you a picture, but what I did was get up really close in her face and then move back. So it was just briefly. Didn't breathe on her, didn't say anything, didn't let her feel me. I'm one of those, I need to know for sure that she sees what it is she's telling me or whatever. And I said, did you see that? And she said, yeah. And I said, well, what did you see? She said, I saw my mommy. And I was like, you did? What did you see? And she said, Mommy, you're beautiful. And I think I was in shock. It was the next morning when I woke up and I was bawling. I think it kind of took some time to sink. But it was amazing. And then with that, I took her and held her hands and just kind of placed her close to her brother and her sister. And she was able to identify everyone immediately, which really kind of surprised me with never having seen anyone.
So now that you can see, what does your mommy look like?
She's got lipstick.
She's got lipstick? What color hair does she have?
Brown.
To know that not only does she have sight, but she's got the vision to go with it, being able to process what it is she's seeing. For the brain to be working with the eyes is a real significant thing for us because we weren't really sure how all of that was going to tie in.